Well, okay, so when I say that I think life is a matrix, I don't know if it's...
I'm not judging. I'm not judging.
No,
like
no,
this.
no,
Okay,
no,
okay,
that's fine.
okay.
It's crazy.
But she is the
And
first
she was an
person.
animated character, and I thought she was fine as fuck, bro.
She was
animated
She
too. I
was
was like,
bad.
God damn. I thought, Rick Flag Sr., I thought, bro, what are you doing?
Bro, he respectable general, bro. He
no,
respectable.
bro.
It's the Lame Guys Podcast.
All right, we're back in studio. Last one we did StreamYard.
Yes, sir.
I feel like it's been a little bit. I don't know why.
I feel that way too. I feel
Skipping
that
a
way.
week always feels like that.
Well, technically, it's 2 weeks, kind of.
Is it?
Cool. Well, cause so like we film, right,
Mhm.
and then the next weekend we don't, so that's 1 week, and then we wait till the next weekend before we come in. So it's been 2 weeks since
You're right.
I've been here, right? So
You
it's
are
still
right.
2 weeks essentially. So yeah, I always feel that way too. I'm not a big fan of the StreamYard, but I know we always have to do it sometimes just because, like WWE events and stuff.
But I just want to jump back into some Moana news. I know we spoke on it last time.
Mm-hmm.
But bro, what a opening record this been. Moana 2 has been.
Well,
having,
we saw.
bro.
Well, did they announce it this week that the third one? They're already working on the third one. Is that one?
Oh yeah, it was this week.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
That
I mean,
came out.
which is a given.
Right.
I
yeah,
feel like
yeah.
I mean this is a big franchise already. It's beloved, so I already have this in my mindset that if this one does great,
Yeah.
we're going to get a third.
I
So
agree.
yeah. So THR posted all the box office records broken by Moana 2. Biggest 5-day debut of all time. Biggest 5-day Thanksgiving earner of all time. Biggest 5-day Thanksgiving nationwide opening. Biggest global opening of all time for an animated film. Biggest Walt Disney animation. 3-day debut of all time. Biggest Black Friday gross of all time. Biggest
Wow.
Thanksgiving Thanksgiving Day gross of all time. Biggest opening day for a Walt Disney animation title. Holy crap!
Yeah, holy
bro.
shit. I don't know about you, but I definitely think that the timing of them releasing it was genius, and I think it plays a big role on Thanksgiving break. Kids are off on Thanksgiving break for Thanksgiving week, right? Like if this comes out on a different week where kids are in school, I'm sure it's still successful. I don't know if it's breaking those records.
So as of right now, the time of this recording, I'm going to guarantee by the time this releases, it's going to go up. But as of right now, it's 453 million worldwide.
That's
I guarantee
phenomenal.
by Monday we're going to get
For an
500
animated
million.
movie too,
Yeah.
that's great.
I guarantee we're going to get to 5 million by Monday. What did the first one generate? That's a good question. First one 643. So
Do
it
you
just
think it
has,
passes it.
it just has to pass it, and then they consider it a hit. Obviously,
Yeah, but even if what if it makes it just like around the same?
that's fine.
Yeah,
It'll
I think
it'll still be a hit.
Either way, it's still a hit just because it now can say it broke all these records, and so it's a hit either way. So they're and like we said, they already announced that they're making the third one. So
Yeah, and then on top of that, bro, we've had 3 heavy hitters in the box office right now. So with
Yeah.
Moana 2, Gladiator 2, and Wicked.
Yes.
Oh, and then you have the Silent Killer Red 1. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I was honestly surprised it was still in theaters
Me too.
because I was looking
Let's
at.
see.
I was surprised.
Red 1, 151 million worldwide. Respect.
I mean, that's not too bad. I'm sure the budget was a lot higher. Though.
Oh yeah, I guarantee it, bro.
Especially with the Rock salary itself probably takes like a quarter of that budget.
I know last episode we said we're both going to try to watch it. I know you went ahead and watched Moana 2. I wasn't
Yes.
able to get around to it.
I've seen
But
it.
what did you think?
I thought it was good. It's not as good as the first one. Now I'm not the target audience, so what does my opinion matter? But it's not as good as the first one, and the songs are not as good as the first one.
So you
There
echo
was
a lot
only-
of people.
Yeah, there was only like one song that I thought that's a good song, and I can tell they know that's a good song because it's played multiple times throughout the movie. So I'm like, y'all know this is your one thing that kids are gonna listen to, and so it's played multiple times in the movie, even at the end credits. So, but overall, the movie's okay. Like, I think the first one is just better. I mean, Maui's funnier in the first one. The story is just better in the first one. There may be some nostalgia too, just because like that's Jaden's first movie that she started watching. So like, and I watched with her, so and I may just be more attached to it. But I think ultimately, even Teresa, my wife, she said the first one's better. Same for the songs. She said the first one has way better songs. The first one, all the songs are very catchy.
Mm-hmm.
Like Maui's song, the song with the crab, I forget his name,
Shiny and everything like that.
Moana songs in the beginning where when you see her island and stuff, like all those songs are very catchy and like I know them word for word and I can still listen to them today. this one I didn't feel like there was any catchy songs. And maybe when I watch on Disney Plus, maybe I'll change my opinion. But
So I saw one of it's either producer or the director of the film came out and said that give it a month. They said your kids are going to start singing these songs.
maybe, yeah.
And I thought that's true too, because I mean, after a while, it's going to start popping up on social media, and it's going to be basically thrown at you to where you're like, oh, you're going to start singing it. So that's also an option. But a lot of people have contributed the non-catchy songs because we did not have Lin-Manuel Miranda back in this one.
Said.
So I remember whenever they announced, obviously they're doing it, but then they came back and said he is not going to be attached to this one. I remember thinking, that's a heavy hit, or that's a heavy loss right there.
Yeah,
that's
the
a
songs
heavy
on
loss.
the first one were so catchy, dude. And obviously, it was just me and Teresa, and then the rest were just kids, like with families.
That's the way it would be for me.
Yeah. Obviously, I don't expect them to sing along to it right away because they don't know the words.
Yes.
But I didn't really hear anybody humming. I didn't really hear anybody like even Maui's song in the first movie is just so much more catchier than it is in this one. So yeah, I think that played a hit. But overall, I mean, like I said, I'm not the target audience. It doesn't matter what I think. It may just be a case that kids just need to see it at home and just have it playing, and then the songs will be catchy. But
so I didn't get around to seeing Moana 2, but I did go see Wicked.
Yeah, did you enjoy it?
That movie has no business being that good.
Really?
Blake's
they're not Blake Steaks anymore. Duck
Steaks.
Steaks. What's the other guy's name? Not Blake. The other guy. Sorry,
Co-host
Garrett.
Yeah.
Garrett. He didn't like it, but he kind of shares the same. From what I saw, their little clip. He's not a big musical guy. But he did say La La Land is like the best movie of all time, which I thought was crazy.
La La Land's very good.
To say that you're not a musical guy and then say La La Land is the best movie of all time. But he said he loves La La Land, but he said he didn't like this one.
This movie.
Do you think I would like it?
There's a lot of singing. I think it has that sentiment to where if it took away maybe 3 songs, you would say, okay, that's not bad. But I think after a while you would be like,
yeah.
It has obviously more songs than the Joker 2, which rightfully so. This is a Broadway.
So it's a
Broadway musical.
Yes.
Oh, dude, I'm telling you, like I've watched The Greatest Showman. I've watched La La Land. I've watched Joker 2, obviously. I've watched Rent before. There's a couple other movies that are musicals that I've watched. But, I mean, this one I think has to be the best.
Wow.
I told my wife Emily when walking out, I was like, I don't think I've ever seen a musical like that, and it was really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
I will say this, which is very unpopular, because even when I told Emily, she was a little taken back by it, because she said she's known a lot of these songs. I only knew the popular one. Emily was like, "How have you never heard Gravity before?" I said, "Never heard of. I've only heard the hook for Popular." You were humming it earlier.
I agree with you. I didn't know that the popular song was from the Wicked movie.
Neither did I.
So I had only heard that on TikTok, and so then whenever Teresa plays the song after she saw the movie, I was like, "Oh, this is from TikTok." I didn't know that it was attached to Wicked.
So I've known the popular song back from like middle school because I took tech theater in middle school.
Oh, it's that old?
Wicked's old, bro.
Okay, so it was already attached to the musical on Broadway and stuff.
Yes.
Okay, because I asked Teresa, I was like, how was I listening to that on TikTok, but the Wicked movie hadn't come out? I know nothing about this whole Wicked thing, so like I didn't even know that it was a Broadway thing and it had the same songs. And
no
stuff.
pun intended. It's a popular song for Broadway.
Yes.
So I told her, I was like, other than that hook, I want to be popular. I was like, I don't know anything about the music, and I was like, and none of the music stuck for me. There's nothing other than like that. That the witch at the very end, does that high note that everyone's doing. Sabrina Carpenter's doing her verse.
Yeah.
Okay, other than that, there's nothing in there that really stuck with me. That you were talking about the Moana 2 music and everything. There's nothing in there that I was connected to. And I told Emily, it's weird to say Broadway music like this. Some of it's a little weird. You can't keep a rhythm. You can't keep, because it switches so much. And rightfully so, you don't have to, but anything like that. But that was my critique. The music was just, it was good, but it was whatever. Cynthia Erivo as the witch.
Just don't ask
Elphaba.
me, Elphaba. Fucking know.
Elphaba, bro. Amazing.
Yeah, I heard she does a great job. I heard even Ariana does a great job.
Ariana Grande as Galinda, bro. Stellar performance.
Yeah,
I kept on thinking, dude, you are her. Like, you embodied this
Yeah,
performance, and it was phenomenal. All I have to say is, bro, this movie had no business being that good. I really enjoyed it. And there's a part of me where if Emily says, let's go see it again, I'd probably say, okay, let's go.
Yeah. I would go see it. The issue is that we only have already limited time.
Yeah.
It's like movies are constantly coming out. So it's like if I do have a chance to go, right? Like I'd be down to go next Friday. Let's say the next Friday. But then we have Craven. Craven's coming out. Like it's one of those things where it's like if we had more time, I probably would go see it. But I don't. And so it's like when I do go to the movies, I have to make it count. And if I skip one, I'm probably just gonna have to wait until it gets to streaming before I go watch it. So, I would probably go see it. But I know Teresa did say she wants to see it. I know she loved it. It's just crazy because Gladiator came out at the same time. I'm sure Gladiator would have done a little better if not for Wicked. I know different audiences.
Different audiences.
But at the same time, if Gladiator is the only thing at the movies to be watched, maybe it does do a little better. I think it did well anyways, and I think they're gonna make it another one anyway. But I'm just saying, like, I'm sure it was a great movie weekend. Like there was just a bunch of movies.
It was perfect. So, it was perfect for movie theaters.
Yeah. Episode 59 of the Lame Guys Podcast. I'm Mario.
I'm Vincent.
What do we got today, bro? We're reviewing Matrix. You want to do that at the end?
Yeah, let's leave that one for the end.
Cool.
There's two things we're going to end up reviewing. Creature Commandos premiered and The Matrix. As our rewind
what do you
review.
get into first?
I have in the show notes, bro, a little update from Daredevil. Daredevil Born Again. Obviously a beloved show from the Netflix era for Marvel and everything like that. All those shows were absolutely a hit for. I mean, some of them were a hit. Jessica Jones, I know a lot of people like. Luke Cage, I know a lot of people like. The Defenders, I think people were okay with, and I don't remember if that many people really liked Iron Fist.
I think people were torn about it.
But Punisher, they also loved.
Yes.
But obviously, with Daredevil coming to the MCU and then Born Again being announced, we already got the trailers and everything. We've been waiting for any little update on what's going to happen, where is this taking place, whatever. So the actor that plays Bullseye in the Netflix show or the Netflix series for Daredevil came out and said that this is taking place roughly 5 years after season 3.
Wow.
He's saying that reflects everything that happened in both the characters and actors at the same time. Let's see. Okay, according to Bethel, Born Again strongly reflects everything that happened to both the characters and the actor in the time since the Netflix originally wrapped. There are a lot of untold stories that those 5 years in between that will inform how the characters are portrayed and require exploration when things start to unfold in March. Everyone will be in different spots from where we last saw them.
Wow.
So
I still have to watch the latest season.
Yeah, you got time.
Yeah,
you got time. That was from Collider, so people can go read that if they want to. That's cool. There's gonna be a lot of time in between. Sounds good. He also came out and said the reason why they decided 5 years or something like that to take a big time jump instead of saying this is right after season 3.
I'm sure they all look a little older too.
Bingo.
Yeah.
He said you can tell they're all noticeably older from when they last were all seen together.
Right.
So very smart because we've seen plenty of times where shows just continue and you're just like, bro,
it just doesn't.
Stranger
fit anymore.
Things. Yeah. Stranger Things. You can tell, bro.
Fit anymore.
They're older.
Yes.
Cobra Kai. You can look at them and you go, bro, they're
you could
older.
tell they could be in college.
Yes, at this point they're grown ups,
right,
bro.
Right.
So that's pretty cool to hear. But all that to say this, bro, I want to ask you a question. Obviously, you still have to finish watching Daredevil. But does Daredevil Born Again have the most pressure? Have the most pressure than any Disney Plus show?
I would say no. Just because I think it's a gift that we're getting it back anyways. Disney could have easily just said we're redoing Daredevil and we're gonna. I think it already left a good impression in people's mouths. People like that show. I think I feel like most people that I've talked to that watched the Daredevil on Netflix liked it.
Yeah.
Netflix canceled it. If we never got it again, I think people just would have just been like, man, travesty. It was good, but I don't know why Netflix canceled it. Whatever. The fact that they're bringing it back is great. That's great. Even if it sucks, I don't think this ruins the Netflix part. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Even if it sucks, I don't know if it ruins what Netflix did with it because the Netflix seasons were genuinely. I mean, I always hear positive things. I watched the first 2 seasons. I thought they were great. I didn't watch the latest one, but I've always heard just good things. So I don't think it ruins it, and I don't think there's a lot of pressure on Daredevil to like Superman, right? Like Superman with James Gunn, there's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Daredevil, I mean, dude, I don't know. I just feel like. And also, there's the fact that a lot of people already don't really care about Disney Plus shows anyways, or people already hold this standard that it's definitely not as good as movies anyways. So, I don't think it holds a lot of pressure, honestly. And I think that because of that, it's going to allow it to just succeed tremendously, and it's going to allow it to beat people's expectations.
Okay, I like the way you said that. I mean, I look at that also, how Campia says when it comes to remakes, because people are like, oh my gosh, they ruined, this whole IP. They ruined the franchise. No, they didn't.
Yeah,
because you can still go back and you can go watch the old stuff, and that doesn't affect it at all.
Yeah.
So I just didn't know if you thought that because it was so beloved from the Netflix era, and that Netflix stuff had such an identity in itself, moving to Disney,
two different companies.
So that already is going to be changed because you don't know, because Disney, obviously family friendly. They do some mature stuff sometimes, but nothing along the lines of some of the violence that the Netflix one had. So I didn't know if you thought maybe it's going to be pressure to see if it's going to be a match for it or what. But at the same time, Kevin Feige and them came out and said that we're going to still have that same DNA from the original. Yep. So,
and I think that the fact that they're doing that even helps even more. And like I said, let's say it does come out and it sucks, which I don't believe it's going to. I think it's going to come out and I think it's going to be great. Let's say it does come out and it sucks. Okay, then we just get Daredevil on, as a side character in movies, and I mean that's cool. Like I don't know, like I personally just don't think it has pressure at all. I just don't. I think it's like it's one of those things where it's like if it does suck, I've already gone years without seeing the Netflix series, so it's like like it's not. It's just to me. I don't know how everybody else feels, but it's not a big deal to me. Not a big deal in a sense of it doesn't have pressure. Like I'm super excited to watch it, and I can't wait to. I've been putting it off. Just I need to go. I'm gonna rewatch the whole show because I remember the first season, but I really don't remember much of the second.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back and rewatch the whole show. I'm excited to watch it. To me, it doesn't hold pressure. I don't know about you. If Daredevil fails, it does nothing for the whole MCU, right? Like the MCU still keeps going.
Yes,
that's the way I look at it. Superman fails. I don't, like who knows where we go from there, right? Like, and I'm not trying to compare it to a movie. I get it's a TV show, but like I'm just trying to say that it just doesn't hold that much weight if it fails. Like it's like it just doesn't.
No, good points. From there, you want to get into some DC?
Yeah.
So James Gunn has been once again doing his press junkets for Creature Commandos. They had the premiere, so he's been making his rounds, doing a lot more interviews, talking more about the future of the DC universe, and I'm loving everything I'm hearing so far. Well, he also came out and mentioned that he had a test screening. They've already done 2 test screenings
for Superman.
They've gone very well. I
believe it.
I love hearing that. And not just that, but he's come out and made comments about David Cornsweet. Now, take this with a grain of salt. The director of his own movie is coming out and talking about his main lead actor. Figures he's going to say something very positive. So James Gunn came out and said, honestly, from the bottom of my heart, David Cornsweet is going to freak everyone out with how great he is. Gunn insists that he is one of the best actors I've ever worked with, and he can do everything. The man is incredible. And then on top of that, the actor that's playing Rick Flag Sr., Frank Grillo, who is in Creature Commandos, we already know he's going to be in Superman. He's going to be a reoccurring character throughout the DC universe. He came out and basically said, David has this aura to him. He said that he is very Christopher Reeve-esque or whatever. He has a stoicism to him. He said, I love that he still gave Henry Cavill his praise too. He said, Henry Cavill, he said, is a beautiful man. He said, he is one that God touched on the shoulder and said, you're just going to be handsome. Like, you are just great. He said, but David is different. He said, even in the suit, he came around the corner and he looked at him because Frank saying, he's 5'10". He said, David's like 6'2", 6'4". He came out in that Superman suit. He goes, oh my gosh, you're Superman. And he said he just carries himself in this way to where like, it's like that. If I had to guess, it's almost like that. You just feel at home with him. Because I feel a lot of people have that feeling with Christopher Reeves. Like they just felt like at home because that was a lot of people's Superman.
Yeah.
So if this guy's already given this aura, I feel like we're in for a treat. Now, granted, once again, these are the actors coming from the same movie. They're praising their movie, of course. But Frank Grillo in the past have talked about the movies he's been in, and he's also been very negative about some of the movies he's been in. So this is like, cool.
Bro, Frank's a real ass dude.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. I believe it. I think it's gonna do great, dude. James Gunn, I mean, he's given us no reason to doubt him. He's given us, no reason to doubt him. I know I was talking shit about the Batman stuff last episode or 2 episodes ago, whatever episode it was. And it wasn't, like I said, all my negativity about this has not been towards James Gunn. It has been towards Warner Brothers, just because I've seen them just constantly fuck shit up. I just feel like constantly. So I have full faith that James Gunn is going to do great. He's given us no reason to
track
not
record.
do. You have the MCU stuff, and then you have Peacemaker, which has been great, and then Creature Commandos we're going to talk about here. It was fantastic. So he's given us no reason to doubt it. I think it's going to do great. I think David Cornsweet does have some pressure, but I also think he doesn't, because a lot of people didn't like Henry Cavill's Superman.
Yeah.
For us, yes, we love Henry Cavill, so I think he does have
big shoes to fill.
Yes, he does have some big shoes to fill with us, but a lot of people didn't like him. So I don't know how much pressure he has. Obviously, the Superman movie has pressure, but I don't know how much pressure David has, and maybe he knows that. I don't know, but I think he's gonna do great. He has the look, bro. He kind of looks like Henry, in a way,
yes,
so it's I think it fits perfect.
And I still think about so hearing all that stuff and saying this guy has this aura to him. I'm telling you, and I mentioned this before on here, when I watched Twisters and he was on Twisters.
I need to watch it. It's on Peacock.
I didn't know he was in it. And then when he showed up, I was like, that's Superman. And at that point, I was just fixated on him. He's a side character. He's such a side character, but he has this presence. He has this presence to him. So the whole time I'm like, either he really does have this presence to him and he's really commanding the screen just for the small scenes he's in, or I'm just telling myself that because he's Superman. I was like, it's either one. But then I told Marco that. Marco watched it and he goes, no, you're right. This guy has something to him. He goes, you could tell every time he's on screen. You want to look at him. And I'm like, okay, good. I was like, so that means
I need to watch it.
I'm excited to see what he's going to do for the main character, not a side character. So I'm excited to see where that goes.
Yeah.
He also came out and talked about Nicholas Holt's Lex Luthor or whatever, saying that he's
going to kill it as well.
He's super imposing, and when he looks at him, he thinks, oh, fuck, poor Superman. I'm like, dude, that's great, because Nicholas Holt already is also very tall.
Yes.
So, and he has this dark side to him. He's a phenomenal actor, so we know he can pull this darkness out of him. That's going to be great. And one more thing for the DC stuff that James Gunn said. James Gunn says the DCU is not telling this story about this bad guy. Quote, this is a connected universe. We're world building. We're not story building. We're not writing one story that has a beginning, middle, and end.
Oh,
it's much more like Star Wars than Marvel in that respect. So yes, they're not trying to say it's all going to lead to one dark side. They have to build out a fleshed out world, and
I'm okay with that.
And they want it to seem like you're diving into this world that's already been made. Let me show you what's out there.
Yeah.
And I really like that. We've talked about it before, bro. When it comes to Superman, we have so many characters. Bro, we're having a Lantern in there, Hawk Girl. We're having Mr. Terrific. Supergirl's apparently going to make a cameo. Crypto's going to be in it. None of this is an origin. Mm-hmm. So it's really bro, we're diving into the DC universe. And after that, we're just along for the ride.
Yeah.
We're just going to see what's out there. And I can't wait. I love that we're not going to really have to, okay, so this origin is here, this origin's here, this origin's here, this origin's here. Okay, now let's see what's the next for their story. No, bro, they've already been in their story. So now we're just tagging along.
Yeah. Well, and we saw how it worked last time, right? With the DCEU. They were trying to copy the Marvel blueprint and lead to Darkseid, and I think they even sped it along.
Yeah, so they definitely pushed the.
Dude, I'm cool with it. Do you think we will ever get to a point where we start doing origin stories again, though?
For DC?
Just superheroes in general.
Oh yeah, there's plenty of superheroes out there, bro, that we haven't even touched.
I guess I just mean the main superheroes. We've seen a lot of Batman, we've seen a lot of Spider-Man, we've seen Superman now. We've seen a lot of Superman actually. Are we gonna get I just feel like that's why they're not giving us these origin stories, because everybody already knows now at this point, right? We have years worth of movies. If you want to see Superman's origin, you want to see Spider-Man's origin, go back and watch those movies. Do you think when do you think we get to that point again where we do origins for Batman, origins for Spider-Man, origins for Superman?
So, okay, speaking for the DC stuff, James Gunn also went around saying, I can't remember the exact quote, but saying that he is more than happy to do Elseworld stories. And Elseworld inside the comics, bro, that's where you get your Red Sun Superman. That's where you get, I guess Red Sun Batman too. You get all these different iterations, variants, if you will, for DC. So I could see us getting a certain type of origin
story
like that. But as far as a pure origin for the main Superman, the main Batman, and the main Spider-Man,
it's gonna be a while,
bro. Our kids are gonna be grown.
Yeah,
because at this point,
another origin.
At this point, I mean, bro, we're going to be along for this ride for a couple years.
Yeah.
So we're not going to get that until we get a full reboot one day.
Yeah.
And I feel the same way when it comes to Marvel. I mean, we were talking about, you know,
personally, I just like seeing origin stuff. I don't have to, but I do like.
You like to see the
different take on it. It's still a different take on each one, no matter what the Yes, origin is vaguely the same, but it's still a different take. Whoever's directing it, whoever's making it, and I like seeing that. But at the same time, it's not like a end all be all for me. I know Superman, I know Batman. I don't need to see their origin. I'm just saying I do enjoy those.
Oh yeah, same here.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
I understand though it'll take a lot more time.
Yeah, and that's the one thing people always get mad. Oh, great, another killing the parents scene when it comes to Batman. Oh, great, another Uncle Ben scene. Like, and that's why they didn't do it when it came to Andrew Garfield's.
Well, even
and they didn't do it for Tom Holland.
Even the most recent Batman show that we got, the animated one. What was it called again? On Amazon.
Cape Crusader.
It wasn't an origin one.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, it's still a new Batman, but they're not doing the whole like origin.
And same with Robert Pattinson's Batman.
Right,
he's a year 2 Batman.
Yes,
he's a year 2 Batman. Yeah. We didn't have to hear the origins, but they allude to it. He calls back. He's still struggling with everything. So that was
Spider-Man.
Cool.
They for real skipped that shit.
Yeah. Oh, I'm over here saying we've seen it a lot. No, honestly, bro, we've only seen it for.
We just saw it for Andrew and we saw it for Toby.
We didn't see it for Andrew. Oh well, yes, we did. Yes, we did. Yeah, we had a flashback. We had a flashback of it. Yes.
Wait, no, bro, what? Are you talking about his origin?
I'm sorry. I'm thinking about the whole Uncle Ben thing as the origin. Like what?
Well, but even in Spider-Man 1, they kill Uncle Ben. He's not Spider-Man yet. He gets bit by a spider. He tours Oscorp. So that's a full origin. Tom's, they completely skipped that shit. Like completely. Mm-hmm. I personally I like seeing the origin, but I understand why we don't get
it. Moving on from James Gunn's comments for Superman, you want to get into Creature Commando?
Yeah, dude. I really enjoyed it. I don't know about you.
I really liked it.
Yeah.
I really liked it. It was very Invincible-esque, bro.
It was a very Invincible-esque, but it felt a little different as well.
Yes.
They give us characters once again that you don't really know much about, which is fine.
But now I want to know about.
Yes, and now you want to know, right? Like they did we can spoilers if you haven't seen Creature Commandos. We could just skipping over episode 1 to go to 2. You see the origin of Frankenstein's bride. What's her name?
The bride.
Okay, that's the bride. You see that, and I enjoyed that episode. And then the next one, we're getting the one about the Nazi killer guy,
GI
Robot. Which, like, yes, personally, I want to see all these origin stories now. I really enjoyed it. I didn't know it was going to be as adultish as it was.
Bro.
Which I love that part. And when Rick Flag Sr. skipped the part where she wanted to have sex with him, I thought, are you an idiot? It's like, what the? I was thinking, like, what the? And ultimately, he does, but. I really enjoyed it, bro. I thought it was really good for the first 2 episodes. I love that they're short. They're 23 minutes, straight to the point.
Yes.
I don't need a whole hour every time. And so I thought, I think it's great. And how many episodes is it going to be?
Part of me wants to say 8, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I thought it was great.
Yeah, same here. I really enjoyed it. I love the maturity of it. It feels James Gunn.
Yeah,
it feels like something that will come from him.
Uh-huh.
Whatever. And I can't say I don't like it because, bro, he's given us Guardians who are nothing but misfits. It turned out great. He gave us a Suicide Squad who was a completely different cast of a Suicide Squad, a different ensemble. And guess what, bro? I absolutely loved it. So this makes all the sense in the world that Creature Commandos is going to be, the only human there, bro, is Rick Flag Sr.
Yeah.
And I love the callback to the Suicide Squad as far as, his son was the one that we lost, the Rick Flag.
Yes,
that
we lost in the latest one.
And off the back, bro, we already get some superpowered beings with what's the character's name? Was it
have the cast here?
Cersei, not Cersei.
Are you talking about the
bad guy? The chick.
Cersei, yes.
Okay, yeah. I love that already, bro. That look at that. Non-grounded. We're going straight to like mythical type shit. We're going straight to overpower. Like I love that already.
And then Bride of Frankenstein held her own too.
Bro, she was phenomenal.
She held her own. I didn't know she was gonna be that powerful. She was powerful. Bro. Yes, yeah. I like Dr. Phosphorus too.
Yes,
he was clean. He was the one that was holding the door right while Rick Flag Sr. was in there to handle it.
Yes, bro. You just hear boom.
Yeah, he's like he's older. I give him a minute.
Oh yeah, because he said give him 30 seconds. Oh, he's a little more wise. Yeah. Give him a minute.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I thought it was great, bro. I really enjoyed it. And I'm curious. I really want to see. You just said his name.
G.I. Robot.
G.I. Robot, his origin story. Because I think it's Nazi, so funny with the Nazi shit.
Killer, hey, whenever he went to Dr. Phosphorus or whatever, he goes, is he a Nazi? They're like, no, he's not. He goes, oh. He was mad about it.
Yes, dude. I can't wait. I thought it was great, bro. And you're right. It does feel super James Gunn-esque.
Yes, bro.
Like you could tell me it's in the same world as Peacemaker, and I believe it. Like it was very James Gunn-esque. And I think the fact that it's animated, you can make it even more James Gunn-esque, and he can he can show like the type of nudity that he wants that he
Yes.
probably wouldn't be able to show
off the
in
back,
live
you get the
action.
princess.
Yeah, she's
You
naked.
get the
You see
princess
side
or
boob.
whatever, and then you see even get freaking the bride, bro.
Yeah. Well, and then the doctor that made her.
Yeah.
When he's having sex, you see his at like So
Yeah,
it's
bro.
very adult animated.
I'm telling you, like so James Gunn during this whole press junket, he's been talking about it's so, like the funniest time making the whole thing was watching Frank Grillo and the actress that voices the princess,
Yes.
or whatever. He says, watch them record their sex scene. He said it's the funniest thing. He said he has the video of it on his phone. He recorded them on because it was all over Zoom,
Yeah.
or whatever. And I'm thinking, oh damn, I wonder what
Maria Bakalova. She plays the Bulgarian princess.
Fun fact: James Gunn says that for the DC
She could have
universe,
been Supergirl, bro.
for the DC universe or whatever. Yeah, she's great. He said that for the DC universe, she is the first person to be cast in the DC universe. Isn't that crazy? And she's not even like a main superhero or anything like that.
Yeah, it is crazy.
But she is the
And
first
she was an
person.
animated character, and I thought she was fine as fuck, bro.
She
She was
bro.
animated
She
too. I
was
was like,
bad.
God damn. I thought, Rick Flag Sr., I thought, bro, what are you doing?
Bro,
But
he respectable general,
Bro,
bro. He
no,
respectable,
bro.
boy.
Hey,
Hey, she straight up told him, she goes, hey, man, she goes, none of these men around here can do it.
And then David Harbour as Frankenstein too, bro.
He's a good one.
Underrated. Yeah, he was good too.
he was very
I'm
good.
curious to see how he is. In the
What I
show.
love the fact, I love knowing that, bro, any character from here, if when they're introduced to live action, the voice actors are going to be the same.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
they're- like so
It'll be great.
So David Harbour will be Frankenstein.
Yes.
Alan Turnick or whatever his name is, he's
Phosphorus.
he's
Phosphorus.
Phosphorus, but not just that. He's already been confirmed. He's Clayface.
Oh, wow.
So when we get Clayface in live action, he will be Clayface.
Oh,
Like he's
okay.
gonna be the voice. Like I love that. I
Yes.
love knowing all this stuff. But the first two episodes absolutely fun, bro. They're
Frank Grillo fits Rick Flag as well.
100%.
Like whenever we do get to that live action, like
100%. And we've seen his photos and
Yes.
everything like that. The only difference is in the animated, bro, he has the white hair and
Yeah,
everything
yeah.
like that. But in live action, he's regular brown or
Yes.
black hair and everything. Doesn't bother me,
Yeah.
but it's funny. I love the length of the episodes. Even the 23 minutes each one, you feel the story. Didn't need more.
Mhm.
It was perfect amount.
Yep. Straight to the point.
Straight to the point. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, I agree. I'm excited to see just the rest of it, dude. Because I'm curious how it's gonna tie in. Because we have seen, unless it's mentioned in Creature Commandos, it's not canon. So I'm curious to see how many of those events we're gonna get in the show.
I wanted to bring this up. It is certified fresh at a 93%, and for the audience score, bro, it was high. It was low 90s at first, and then it went to high 80s. Well, bro, leave it to Snyder fans. Snyder cultists have review bombed the audience score for Creature Commandos down to a 79%. If you look at the reviews, you'll find half the reviews are filled with people basically going at James Gunn. So now it is sitting at a 79, which is still considered good, but considering what it was before,
Right.
for the people that actually cared about the show, now the
These
Snyder fans have
people,
went
bro,
for
let
it.
it go. God damn. Let it go. Shit.
And it's sad, bro, because I'm thinking, gosh, man, when I tell you I love everything that Zack Snyder gave us with Man of Steel, BVS, and his Snyder Cut for Justice League, I love it. Even the casting choices, Aquaman that led us to the Aquaman movies, Wonder Woman that led us to at least the first good Wonder Woman movie.
Mm.
And I had the same thing with Ray Fisher and Ezra Miller, bro. Like they were phenomenal in their parts. These fans are toxic as fuck, bro.
Dude.
They're so toxic. It's like
It's
I look at it like
ridiculous.
that, bro. It's like we were kind of talking about, like, it's not going to affect what we had before and everything like that. Let's look at it like that, bro. I respect that we had the Snyderverse. I respect that, and I love it, and I will cherish that forever. I'm ready to see what we can do somewhere else.
I just want to
Zack
see
Snyder
superheroes
moved on.
screen.
Zack Snyder moved on. How come they can't move on, bro?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
I just want to see the heroes on screen, bro.
Yeah.
And so you're telling me you're just gonna hold all these projects hostage just because Zack Snyder's on, bro? The fact that we're getting them on the screen is fantastic in itself.
Yeah.
Like, just give it. Yeah, I just can't. I can't believe it.
Yeah, it's sad.
You want to move on to the Matrix?
Let's get to the Matrix, bro.
So we watched the Matrix as part of Review Rewind
For the first time for me.
first
time for
me
Mario.
as well. Yeah.
I mean, that's one that we've been hearing from
Yeah,
for a
some
long
people,
time.
bro. It's some people's greatest movie of all time.
Yeah.
You want to rank it?
Yes.
Okay. Ranking for the Matrix. 3, 2, 1,
7.5.
9. Okay. Well, I'm curious to see how you go first. I'm curious to see how you felt about it.
It was okay. So I'm torn because I even told Marco I can even say an 8. So I'll say an 8 because even the way I broke it down to Marco, because he was excited for me to talk about it.
Right.
I already told him about it. It's one of those movies where I 100%, just like Gladiator, but I 100% see why it's a classic. I
Yes.
really get it.
Yes.
And there's some stuff in there to where I thought, I've seen, like nowadays we've seen everything. There's some stuff in there that I thought, oh, I've never seen something like that before. Some of the fight scenes were, the fight scenes were phenomenal.
Yeah, when you got to imagine too, it's 1999. So
Yes.
imagine seeing it.
Yes.
Bro.
And
Could've
that's
been
what Marco said.
mind-blowing.
Marco
Yes.
said it was one of those that I had to be there. He
Yeah.
said he was there from the beginning, and that's
Wow.
why he holds it.
He
at,
saw
like,
it in theaters.
I don't know if it was theaters, but he said like he had the VHS, like so,
Wow.
like so. Marco's been there from 1, 2, 3, all these.
I mean,
bro.
we were only 3.
Huh?
We were only 3.
Yeah.
So he couldn't watch it.
But what you call it? That's why he holds it such a special place in his heart. But I told him, I was like, but once again, I get why it's so special. I understand that, bro. Movies had to take inspiration from something, you know.
Yeah.
Our sci-fi movies nowadays, our superhero movies had to take inspiration from something. This was that something.
Mm.
I 100% see this movie and go, oh, y'all had to take that leap before anyone else can. So
Yeah.
yes, I understand why this movie's so highly regarded. Because nowadays we look at some fight scenes, we look at some action scenes, and we go, oh, I've seen better now because of what than what the Matrix has. But
Mhm.
you're right, it's 1999, and as of what I just said, someone had to do it first. Special effects for what the time was, they were good, bro. They were good. The story, it was pretty good. There's some stuff in there that I did not ever know about. Like waking up from the Matrix. I told Marco, I've always seen still images from this movie, you know, when they're in the Matrix. They're in their all black get-ups and everything like that. I've never once seen an image of when they have all those ports in their arms. They're Neo's bald and, like they're actually in the real world 2199 or whatever it is. I've never seen a still image of that. So that was pretty cool. That was a little surprise to see what the future looks like for there. Overall story, I enjoyed it. And I'm not going to lie, I think I do want to see the next one. I said, well, let's just review the first one. I don't think we have to review the second one, but personally, for me, I think I'm down to see the next one because I've also just been going in and trying to watch more stuff. It's also cool knowing that the fight scenes were them.
Yes.
That was
You can tell too.
Yes, I paused it midway through the first fight, and I looked at my wife Emily because she watched it with me, and I was like, "That's them." And she goes, "What do you mean?" I go, "There's no hiding the actors' faces." I said, "The camera is right there, so you can see their face 24/7." And technology is not that good back then to where they can perfectly CGI it. I said, "That's them."
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "Wow, I think you're right." And then from then on, the movie, we could tell, bro, it was the actors, and that was phenomenal, bro. It was phenomenal. I don't know if you caught it. I like the little John Wick callback or the little like from John Wick. It's from John Wick, but obviously it came from here. In the end, when Neo was like, I need guns, lots of guns, and it made me think, oh, John Wick was like, I need guns.
Yes.
I was like, oh, okay, a little callback. That was a cool little thing. Lawrence Fishburne was amazing. He's amazing in a lot of stuff he's in. Keanu Reeves. I don't think I've really seen many young Keanu Reeves movies, other than Speed. So this was pretty cool, but he's Keanu Reeves. He has that same mannerisms and everything he has in everything we've seen. That same voice.
Yes.
It's everything ends in a sentence, bro.
Yeah.
There's no commas in his dialect. And I don't know. I really enjoyed it. Like I said, I lie. It's not a 7.5. It's an 8, and I'm okay with that.
Okay. I personally didn't know how much I was gonna enjoy it. When I watched it in parts.
Oh, so did I.
As I was and not because it was boring or anything, just because time, right? Like just time. I just had to keep breaking it up. I really enjoyed it, but it was more so of afterwards, like really thinking about it and stuff. Like I really enjoy mind bender movies.
Yeah.
This one is a mind bender movie. Because it's kind of confusing, right? Like if you're not paying attention, it could get confusing. I agree with everything you said. For 1999, dude, the effects were great. The acting was a little cheesy, but it's 1999, right?
Yes.
Like
you could tell.
And right away you get the whole, like, it's almost like you're going through a time machine, going back to 1999, early 2000s. And I appreciate that just because we see so much cool stuff on the big screen now. It's cool to just take a step back and see like a more, even though that's not really a grounded movie, but it just based off of the movies that we have today, it's kind of more grounded. I would assume, I would think. I really enjoyed it. The role felt like it was made for Keanu Reeves.
Yes.
Like it felt like the role of Neo was made for him. Even with Lawrence Fishburne as Morpheus. I don't know the sequel. I don't know. I think there's 4 in total. I hesitate to watch the other ones just because I feel like I have a good understanding of this one, and I've seen people say that in the second and third they just kind of just get rid of all of that. Like they confuse you even more, and the second you think you have an understanding of how the first one works and where they're gonna go, it just ruins it. So I probably, I mean, if we want to watch it, I'll watch it, whatever. But ultimately, bro, I really enjoyed it. The reason I don't give it a 10 is just because just some cheesy acting and but I can't really hold it to that, right? Like if I'm watching it in 1999, I'm sure it's a 10 for sure. But just based off what I've seen and stuff, I'm just giving it a 9. But ultimately, yeah, I mean, it truly just makes you think, bro. Like I had to write how I felt about it because like I wouldn't have been able to remember everything that I was thinking while I was watching the movie. But it's very complex. It's a real mind bender. And it makes you really think like is life a matrix in itself? Like, and I think it is, and we'll talk about it. We can talk about it here in a minute. But and then I just like how they have the whole technology aspect, right? Like we constantly see AI is going to take over or this and that. And like, we're getting closer to that time period in our world. And so it's like, we keep seeing these projects that are, saying that this is going to happen. I don't know if that will I don't think it's ever going to change the fact that we're going to progress no matter what. But it's just crazy because Dune is that way too. Dune is that way too. Like, the AI, they have computers and they take over and then they have to kill them. I was a little confused with the whole computers making humans, and then because I thought the humans won the battle, but then I guess they were just so weak that I don't know if you had a better understanding of it all, but like the computers made the humans was my biggest understanding, and I was a little confused on that. I'd have to rewatch it again. You could definitely tell it's one of those movies that if you rewatch it a second time, you probably understand a little bit more. But I thought it was great, and I truly see why, bro. Some people have it as hot. I wouldn't say it's my favorite movie of all time. Go ahead.
What you said earlier, as far as it's a mind thinker type thing and everything like that, I get that. For me, I didn't walk away thinking anything.
Oh, I thought so much.
See, and that's okay.
I had to write down all my thoughts.
See, and that's okay. And there are movies I have done stuff like that in the past. And there are some like where you can constantly think about. It was one where I watched it. I enjoyed it. I thought about it for just that time, and then obviously when I spoke to Marco about it, I haven't thought about it since. I haven't thought about it since. But that's also like kind of my just my sense of thinking. I told Marco, here, try to follow along with me on this. I try to explain it to Marco because we hear a lot about, bro. Andrew Tate's big on the Matrix. We're in the Matrix, and this. Okay.
Well, it always kind of just sounded like a conspiracy theorist type. It was always like the extra super right wing, like super type people that just kind of just were annoying sometimes because they were just constantly doing. But after watching this movie, I don't know, bro. I mean, we can get into it later. But go ahead.
So what I was going to say is, I feel like. So you're right. So imagine someone that back in the day had some type, like was kind of a conspiracy buff and everything like that. They felt some type of way. They always felt like nothing was ever right. They felt like something in life was missing.
Yes.
They watched this and they realized that's it.
Some people say it's a documentary.
And not just that, not saying like that's it, but they kept on saying like, I can't put my finger on it. Like, I feel like it, like it should be something. It should be something. And then the title, The Matrix, and they go, that's it. It's now dubbed The Matrix. It gave it names. It gave everything names as far as, The Matrix is this and this. Like, I don't know. In that type of sense, I look at it like that. Like the Matrix movie gave
I think everyone's in agreement of
The
that
Matrix,
as well.
For me, as far as over like not like, taking it with me and thinking about it more, I'm telling you, I haven't really thought about, is this some type of actual simulation that we're in? Are we in the Matrix or anything like that? It is cool to hear. I will say that there are a lot of points to where you can make. Marco's made some with me in the past or whatever that you listen and you go, a lot of stuff adds up. But at the same time, it's just like, the fuck can I do?
Well, okay. So when I say that I think life is a Matrix, I don't know if it's.
I'm not judging. No.
Okay.
That's fine. Okay.
When I say that life is a Matrix, I'm not saying that we're being controlled by robots. Maybe we are. I mean, I don't know. The fact that they're letting us sit here and do this podcast, hey, thank you, bro. Like, I mean, I don't know what else to say.
I could use 43 million, bro. If you know, you know.
But what I do think life is kind of like a Matrix in a sense of, and follow along with me because it gets very complex.
No, let's go for it.
It gets very complex. I had to even write down like what I was thinking while I was watching the movie. I don't know if I should just like preface it or if I should just read just exactly what I wrote
exactly
down.
what you wrote.
Okay. So these are the thoughts while I was watching The Matrix. The best part of the movie for me is not the action or its acting or special effects. It's how I feel like it's related to the real world. I feel like we are all living in a matrix, and not in a sense of like robots controlling us, and that we're gonna wake up and and it's all in code and all this stuff, which I thought was cool in the movie, by the way.
Yes.
But it's in a sense that we are born, right? And we're automatically installed with beliefs. We're automatically installed with how we should behave. We're automatically installed with what path we should take when we grow up. And so then you make that your reality. And so if other people have different beliefs, you think that they're not living in the correct reality. You think that they're mistaken or misguided or whatever. Especially we see it with religion. Like a lot of people feel that way about religion. You believe in something else and they think you're wrong. Yeah. They have no sense of listening to how you feel or anything like that. I feel like the people that do and that are open to listening to how you feel or I feel or somebody else feels about religion or just the way they grew up or how they look at life, and then if you adopt some of those things or you're willing to adopt and willing to adapt and get out of that mindset of this is how my parents or this is how teachers taught me, this is how it's got to be, that's kind of breaking from the matrix. I feel like that's us being just told exactly how we should act, how we should do, like what path we should take. You're supposed to work a 9 to 5. You're supposed to go home after work and have a couple hours and then you go to sleep and then you do it all again the next day. That's a matrix in itself, right? Like that. So it's not even just about like robots controlling us. It's just a deeper thing. Like the matrix itself could just be what we are told to do. And who are we told to do that by? Is it the government? Is it Jesus Christ? Is it whoever it is, right? But I mean, that's still a matrix in a sense. So I took that from the movie. Maybe that's just overthinking it. I don't know. But to me, like that is just our normal lives is the matrix. I also think in the matrix, it's comfortability. I think people living normal lives and never taking risks is living in the matrix. You have a red pill and a blue pill. I think a lot of people would think they would like to pick the red pill, but most people would probably just pick the blue pill just to go home and just be like, I just want to live my life. Like, I don't want to deal with this extra shit. I just want to live a normal life. So a lot of people feel that way. Mm-hmm. They just would rather go home and be ignorant to the things going on inside. Maybe ignorant isn't the right word, but just ignore everything else that's going on. I'm a victim. Like, I don't care about what's going on. I care about what's happening right now.
I mean, I feel guilty of that.
So Morpheus even says Neo is a slave. He's a slave to what we see. He just has a normal programming job. He looks like he lives a boring life. So I understand that we are slaves to the system. We do what we're told, and we would rather be comfortable than uncomfortable. That especially holds true when we see Cypher turn on his friends because he doesn't want to go through the trauma and hardship. He's tired. He's done with this shit. He thinks it's all for nothing. He would rather just be, he says, ignorance is bliss. He would rather just go home, have a normal life, forget all this stuff that happened, and he would just rather be a part of the system. That's how 99% of the people, I feel like, would not take the red pill. They would like to say they would. I probably would be guilty too of just taking the blue pill. Like, let's say they come to me and I'm like, bro, I have a good life. I have Teresa. I have Jaden. I don't know if I would take the red pill. Like, I think I'd be fine just staying here. That's why Morpheus, when he says to Neo and they're walking through the city that most people aren't ready to wake up from their pods, I don't think they'd be able to handle it.
Yeah.
So I think so if you're willing to get out of your comfort zone, I feel like that's getting out of the matrix. Another version of living in the matrix is self-doubt. We're restricted by things that we think we can't do. We all think certain things aren't possible, and we put limits on ourselves as to what we can accomplish. And we see it perfectly with Neo. He lives a normal life as a programmer, and when shit starts to hit the fan, he would rather get caught by the agents than to follow the path that Morpheus told him. He told him to take the whatever that lift is on the windows. I forget what it's called.
Scaffolding.
Yes. We see, right? He would rather just get caught by the agents than take that chance. Now, that's super scary, and I'm not saying I would do the different path either, but I'm just saying, like, that's part of breaking out of the matrix. So when Neo, and then when we see Neo fail his first jump in the matrix, he already has a doubt that I'm not going to be able to jump that thing. Like, I can't do that, right? So he's already limited himself. Oracle tells him he's not the one because Neo has to find that in himself. She literally says it. It's like being in love. No one can tell you, you just know. And then she reads his palm and she goes, you already know what I'm going to say, don't you? Neo says, I'm not the one. And she just says, yeah. Neo already didn't think he was the one.
Self-doubt.
He already had that self-doubt. So she doesn't know. She even said it. She said, you don't know. You have to know. So she has an idea, But ultimately, it's up to Neo to decide if he's going to be it or not. And then as the movie goes on, we see Neo start to believe more and more in what happens. He accomplishes more and more. He has to unlearn his limitations. He starts moving like the agents, and he even dodges some bullets. Yes, he gets hit when they're on that roof, but because he still has a little bit of self-doubt, but you could tell like he's starting to unlearn his limitations, and then he's starting to get better and better, which I think could be tied to the real world. I think people who become millionaires and come from nothing are people that have stepped out of the Matrix. They didn't say, hey, we are poor, so I'll stay poor. They made themselves, they didn't say this is my place in the world. Like, I feel like we've seen in movies a lot of times, like where dads will tell kids, like, you have to know your place in the world, or you know, this and that. I think people that become billionaires or people that become rich said, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to get out of this limitation. So they don't set limitations for themselves. They stepped out of the Matrix, and then they had the self-belief to go on and accomplish great things. So to conclude, I feel like our lives are Matrix. We're put in constructs set by the government or parents or teachers or whoever's in your life, and essentially become so it's up to us to become a version of Neo ourselves. So like essentially, I feel like the movie tells you if you believe in yourself, anything is possible. Because essentially, reality is what you make it. And you see that in the movie, like it truly is. And so I looked at it like in a deeper meaning of the movie.
And I appreciate that. I mean, hearing all that, I mean, I'll say, a lot of this stuff is, you're right.
Yeah.
You really are right.
I just took that because you see it throughout the movie, and you could just really tie it to the real world. So,
and bro, we slowly breaking it. You know why? Because I don't know about you, but I get this reaction every single time someone finds out we have this podcast. Oh, you have a podcast? Why? Because they just think our only thing we do, bro, is just work.
Yeah.
Our normal work. You do something exciting to where not many people can do it, like this.
You get out of your comfort zone.
You get out of the comfort zone, and you kind of, poke that little, simulation a little bit. And I feel like this is us doing that.
Yeah.
So in a certain way, in a small way, even though a lot of people do it, but for us at least, who, bro, me and you aren't the most outgoing people.
Right.
Me and you don't like going out. So for us, this is the most outgoing thing we can do.
That's why when I watched the movie, I thought to myself, I probably deadass would have taken the blue pill. And when Cypher tells Neo, you're wishing you took the blue pill, I'm thinking, in that moment, I probably would have been like, what the fuck did I do? Like, I probably would have been like, I'd rather just go to my comfortable life. And yeah, I think a lot of times, I know I'm guilty of it. I don't get out of my comfort zone. And so whenever I do, you can tell great things come from it. I decided to leave Costco. I have a great job now. I decided to do this podcast. I love this podcast. Now, we may not have a lot of people watch it, but it's
slowly growing.
It's slowly growing, and we're still out of our comfort zones. Yeah. We're putting ourselves on camera to get attacked by other people.
And not just that, bro. For this podcast, if we never started this podcast, bro, we would have never made the connections we ever made with
Bobby Lashley,
Narcolepsy Boy, Malik Kelly or whatever, and Bobby Lashley, and not just
multiple people, more people.
And yesterday, I know this isn't our wrestling podcast, but we found out freaking Zilla Fatu, future Bloodline member, follows us on our TikTok page. Like, that's wild, bro.
Yeah. So ultimately, like, it's getting out of, like, I guess just putting yourself out of constructs and not saying like, and we are so guilty about this for a long time. And maybe this podcast won't make us famous, but we are so guilty of a streaming thing would come out, and we always wanted to make a podcast, or we always just said it's too late, bro. We should have done it before. Yeah. I know I was big on saying that.
Yeah.
And so
same.
And I feel like that was in the Matrix. Like, you were already putting limits on yourself. You were already just saying like, I'm just gonna live a normal life, and I'm just gonna da. Yes, we still live a normal life. I understand. I'm not saying we're better than anybody else. But I'm just saying, like, the people that do those things and put themselves out of that limitation and put themselves out of their comfort zone and are constantly doing those things and growing, that's getting out of the Matrix. And so that's the way I looked at it. And so, I just thought it was deep.
Hell yeah, bro. So for Rewind Review, you gave The Matrix a 9. I gave it an 8. I said 7.5 at first, but no, like I said, I'm comfortable with saying it's an 8. I enjoyed this one. Yeah, I really did.
Like I said, I'm hesitant to see the second one just because I feel like I have a good understanding of the first one, with some things that I'm still misunderstanding. But for the most part, I feel like I have a good understanding. I've seen some people say the second one completely wipes that. Right, because the first one ends with Neo, right? And you automatically think, okay, so now it's his job to wake everybody up to what's going on. To tell people this isn't real. Like, what you're doing is not real. Like, and you got to get people to believe that. And then apparently in the second one, That's not the path
Marco
they
told
go.
me that the first one is basically that deeper thinking type stuff, and the second and third one are popcorn flicks.
I believe it.
And I'm like, that sounds cool.
I could totally see the studios being like, bro, it doesn't have to be deep. We just need action. We just need sci-fi. I could totally see that.
I like it.
Yeah.
We need to figure out another one.
Yeah, for sure.
From the Wachowskis, I mean, who directed the film and wrote the film, I'm already looking at the one I think that I want to watch, bro. Even
Which
though
one?
I've already seen it, Speed Racer.
Oh, I've never seen Speed Racer.
Yeah, that's why I want to watch it.
Okay, yeah.
It's one of those where I'm thinking, bro, I want you to watch that movie so bad, bro.
I've never seen it.
I love Speed Racer.
Yeah, well, I'm down to watch whatever. Next week hopefully we'll see Y2K. I know that
Yes.
one's kind of been under the radar, but I want to see it, and then maybe we can give a review
Has
on it.
Rachel Zegler in it, right?
Yeah, and then the guy from not Stranger Things, It.
Yes.
The kid,
Yes,
the
yes,
original
yes,
kid
yes.
with the stutter. I forget his name. But he's in it, so yeah, I'm excited to see that. And then obviously we have Craven coming up. We'll have to figure out a time to watch that. And then I don't know. We won't be able to go Friday though because you have your Undertaker thing.
Yeah.
So we'll have to go another day. We may just see it separately then.
Maybe we can do
Because
something Thursday.
technically, next week's would be the Craven review episode.
Oh shit, never mind. Because I was gonna say maybe we can go Thursday, but we'll have our life group thing.
Oh,
we have.
yeah.
I was gonna because Elena's not gonna be with us.
Okay. Yeah. Well, so
We'll figure it
hopefully we'll review some movies next week. But anything else?
That's it.
Cool. We'll catch you guys next week.
Later.